AWS Workspaces Desktop Service Demo. In this section, let's get our hands dirty and launch an AWS workspace and then connect to the workspace using the client. So what are the objectives? Familiarize ourselves with the AWS workspace service on the AWS console, create a workspace desktop, install the client, and access it remotely. So let's do the live demo. Here I'm logged into my AWS console. I'm in Oregon, which supports the workspaces option. I'm going to click on workspaces right here. Okay, I've already launched a bunch of workspaces before, and that's why I don't see the quick launch, but you'll probably see the quick launch. I'm going to go ahead and launch the workspace. Before I do that, notice on the left hand side you see directories, workspaces, bundles, images, and all these things are left menu for workspaces. And then there are things called application managers. There are some advanced management things that you can do, like managing application packages and things like that. We're not going to cover that as part of this section, but I just wanted to tell you that if you're going to be a system administrator, those are some of the things that you may want to do. What we want to concentrate on is workspaces. You can create the directory yourself if you want, or you can just simply go to workspaces and launch the workspace, which will create the directory. So that's what we'll do. Let's click on launch workspaces. It says select a directory. Well, I don't have any directory, so we need to create a new directory. So let's create a directory. There are two options. One would be to set up a simple Active Directory, which would be an Active Directory that you would set up in the cloud. Or the other one would be to choose an Active Directory connector. This is assuming you already have an Active Directory running in your enterprise and you want to connect to that because you want those users that you already have in your existing Active Directory to have cloud-based desktops. But we'll take the simple option. We'll use the Simple AD. Click on Simple AD. Now this is where you give your organization name. I'm going to give the organization name as Cloud Class. And notice when I gave the organization name, it shows that as the directory DNS. And that's why this name needs to be something that's less than 64 bytes, 64 characters. In fact, there are some rules. It might be even less than that. Anyway, it has to be a DNS name. Okay, so you can also give a password for the administrator. I'm going to keep it simple. I'm going to say password 1 and password 1 with an uppercase P. So I got my organization name, which became the directory DNS name, and that became the NetBIOS name, which is the network communication for PCs. And then in terms of VPC, it already chose a default PC. If I needed to, I could create a new VPC. It's fine. This is good enough for me. Continue. Okay, so it says, do you want to create a simple AD? Click on it. And yes, so the directory is being created. Notice it says creating. So let's wait. I'm going to pause now until the directory is created. Finally, the directory is created. Let's click here. It's a simple Active Directory. It tells you what the DNS address for the directory service is. It's a Microsoft Active Directory implementation. So we are good to go. Now we can click on Workspaces and we can launch a workspace. There's the directory. That's the only directory that I have. I select that and click Next. Saying Workspaces is connecting to a directory. And this may take 5 minutes. I don't think it should take 5 minutes because we've already created the directory. Okay, so we are up. It was pretty fast because we already created the directory. The username is going to be K Shyamsundar. First name is Karthik. Last name is Shyamsundar. Email address is karthik.shyamsundar@gmail.com. This is where I'm adding a user. You can say create user. So user should be added. Notice I have added a user at the bottom right here. So basically what it did was it added a user into Active Directory. I can add as many users as I want. This email address is important because that's the email address to whom the information about the workspace is going to be sent once the workspace is created. Okay, one user is good enough. Go to next step. That user has been selected. I can choose my bundle. In this case, I'm going to choose the Performance Plus bundle, the big bundle. Performance Plus with Office 2013. Okay, so that's the bundle that I'm choosing for that one user. And notice that if I had 7 users, I could choose different bundle for each one of the users. Next, it says, do you want to encrypt the root volume, which is the C drive, and the user volume, which is the D drive? I'm not going to encrypt it. I can do that if I want to. And then it says, do you want to launch the workspaces? Say yes, I'm going to launch the workspaces. Now I got to wait close to 20 minutes before the workspace is done. Notice it says 20 minutes right here. So I'm just going to wait for 20 minutes. And then I'm going to get an email once the workspace is launched. I just did the reload, and notice it says that it's in the process of creation. It's pending. This is where it's actually creating a single virtual machine, a single workspace for a single user. There's really no sharing going on. There is no multi-tenancy over here. Although it's a SaaS service, it's multi-tenancy from the perspective that there may be one big machine that they have on the server side, and they are chopping that machine into pieces to create this virtual machine for me. Okay, I'm going to pause the video and come back once the workspace is created. Okay, it's been about 20 minutes. Let me do a reload and see if my workspace is created, and it says it's available. Okay, great. So the workspace is created. Okay, so the workspace is created. Now, hopefully I've received an email. So let me go back to my email. There it is. I've received the email. Notice it says your administrator has created Amazon Workspace for you. Follow the steps below to quickly get started. Complete your user profile by clicking on this link. So that's where I have to complete my user profile. Again, this email is sent to every user for whom a workspace is created. It says your username is K. Shyamsundar. Notice that the password that I had created was actually for the administrator. It's not for the actual user of the workspace. The user has to create his or her own password. Okay, so I need to register first. So let me go ahead and register. Click on that. Okay, there it is. It's telling me K. Shyamsundar, my username, my password. Now I'm going to give my password. I put my password. User ID is K. Shyamsundar. Update. Okay, and it says download the client. This is the client that I'm going to be using in order for accessing my desktop. So I can click on it and I can download it. There's the Workspaces client. Continue, continue, install. All right, so I'm installing the client. I'm installing it for the second time. I've already done it once. Okay, so the client has been installed. Okay, what do I need to do now? I need to launch the client. Let me go ahead and launch the client. Okay, let me launch the Workspaces client. Now, I had already installed Workspaces and I already connected once to our desktop. So it's actually remembering that desktop, and that's why it's trying to do a login. What I'm going to do is go to options, actually go to works. What I'm going to do is go to options and say register. So I'm going to re-register a new client. You don't have to do this, especially if you're doing it for the first time, but I just want to show you that if you had already registered a client and are using that client, you'll have to change the registration code. Now, where's the registration code? It's in the email. That's the registration code. So go back to your Workspaces client, enter, and hopefully it'll be registered and I can log in. Now I can log in, and the user ID is K. Shyamsundar and the password is what I just created as a user. I hope I remember that. It says, do you want to remember me? Yeah, I'll remember. and I'm launching my terminal session. So this is the client that I'm using to connect to my cloud desktop. Close that. Close that. Minimize that. So it's launching the session, trying to connect to my desktop in the cloud. It says connection still in progress. Okay. There it is. I'm connected to my Windows Server 2008 R2. It's preparing to launch my desktop. This is all PC over IP communication that's happening. Don't forget, this is the first time I'm logging to my Windows operating system. The next time it shouldn't be this slow. And if you're going to be using Microsoft Windows to connect to it, then in that case you will download the Workspaces client for Microsoft Windows. If you're going to be doing it on iPad, then you have to download an app. Waiting for the setup now. It's doing the Windows desktop update at this point. Finally, my desktop is up. I can click here and I can do whatever I want to do. I can log off, I can restart, I can do any of those things. I can even launch Microsoft Word. So this is PC over IP that is being used. I have also Outlook. And this is the application manager if you're interested in managing the applications that are being deployed into these different workspaces. You can also install Amazon Workdocs. We talked about Amazon Workdocs Sync, which allows you to synchronize all the data that's in this cloud desktop into S3. You can install that if you want. I launched 2 copies of Word. This is the application manager. I'll cancel that. I don't need that. Okay, there's Word. I can create a document. I can do whatever I want to do. I'm not going to use Word, but I'll go ahead and close Word. Okay, I've closed Word. It took some time to launch Word. Let me go ahead and launch Word now. And this time it should launch much faster. The reason it took some time is because when you install Windows for the first time, which is what happened, it has to do a lot of basic setup, and that's why. Now things should be much faster. Okay, so now I can close. Just click on that and it'll close my connection. And I can reconnect if I want to. It's launching the session. And there it is. It took about 90 seconds for that to show up. Okay, that was the Excel which I was trying to launch last time. So I can launch Word, close, I can launch Excel, fast. Again, the first time when you launch these Microsoft Office, it takes time, and after that it's good. Alright, so hopefully you get the idea behind Amazon Workspaces. Let's get back to our presentation. Okay, so in summary, we were able to familiarize ourselves with the AWS Workspaces service as part of this section. We were able to create a Workspaces desktop, and we were able to install a client, which is the Workspaces client, and access the remote desktop using the client.